My name is Sam Gould. I've lived here in Caerphilly for all my married life. I care very much about my local area. I care very much about Caerphilly. I was brought up in the Welsh Valleys and then was raised then in Hynaf. The thing that motivated me to get into politics, because believe you me, I did not want to be stood here doing this, was the absolutely atrocious letdown by massive cuts to our services here in Caerphilly. It was the cuts to when we lost our A&E at the Miners, a perfectly working hospital with an A&E. Due to the cut in that A&E, we now have atrocious ambulance response times, and it's not our paramedics' fault, it's because they've got to travel further. My wife and my baby nearly died waiting over an hour for a critical ambulance. I nearly lost my family. I don't want to lose them again. And I don't want anyone to ever have to go through that, ever. We should not be cutting to our NHS, and UKIP is committed to keeping the NHS free at the point of delivery. And I'm fed up of the certain party lies and me going out saying they want to privatise the NHS, when it was one party here who actually started the privatisation of the NHS through PFIs. We are committed against the privatisation of the NHS. We'll keep it free at the point of delivery. We'll buy out of those PFI contracts. We'll make it a national service once again. We will also take those people who are suffering the awful bedroom tax. We will abolish that tax. We will tax those corporations who are dodging tax left, right and centre. And we'll stop that multinational corporation, the EU, from taking more and more money out of this area. Absolutely. And be able to put more money here into Wales, here into Caerphilly, so we can invest so much more. I believe in Caerphilly. I believe in Wales. I believe in Britain. So please, believe in me and vote UKIP on May 7th.
Last year, food banks in Wales fed 85,000 people. What would your party do to reduce hunger and inequality levels in our towns and cities?
We've had a report this week about the number of people who are using food banks. And in the country as a whole, it's been escalating. So at 85,875 people were given 3 days' worth of emergency food in 2014-2015. And what's interesting is that the report from the Trussell Trust has highlighted 3 reasons why that has happened. First of all, low incomes. Secondly, benefit delays. And thirdly, benefit changes.
It is deeply regrettable that there is an increasing demand for food banks in the 21st century Britain. If those who attend food banks in such dire straits that they need food handouts, there is a high likelihood that they will also need additional support to deal with issues such as debt, such as family breakdown, addiction, or poor physical or mental health. Many will need employment or legal advice to help them. We will therefore contribute to the important work done by food banks and develop them into community advice centres for those most in need. UKIP will train and fund the cost of 800 advisors to work in 800 food banks so the poorest in our society have free, easy access to timely help in their hour of need. We need to help those people in that hour of need. We need to help them as much as we can. But also what we will do is exempt food banks and charity shops from charges imposed by local authorities to dispose of unwanted food waste or other goods. They are not businesses, in the sense most of us understand the term, and therefore should not be expected to pay fees for waste disposal. Why should there be food banks here in Caerphilly? Why should Caerphilly be also parts of it be the most deprived area in Wales, is what came out in a Welsh Assembly report last year? It's Caerphilly. We have so much to offer here. It shouldn't be this bad. Let's take those on the lowest incomes out of tax. Let's help those who are in need. Let's encourage them to move forwards. And let's help them and advise them and encourage them the best way we can. Because we can all do better. So please, vote UKIP. Thank you.
Wait, we're not talking about work. We're not talking about work. We are not talking about work. We're talking about people who come here and who haven't put a penny into this system, 1 penny into this system, 1 penny into this system, okay? We're not talking, no, he's not answering the question, he's avoiding the question, okay? We're not talking about Britons going abroad, Wayne. We're not talking about Britons going abroad to work, okay? We're talking about people coming here and taking without putting a penny in, when you're insisting people should be putting into society, right? So don't divide the question.
Obviously, as has been mentioned already, that the NHS is a devolved issue. It is looked after by the government in Cardiff. But our policies and our objectives will remain the same. And what we will do is actually, as a party we have in our fully costed manifesto, is to invest an extra £12 billion into the NHS over the next Parliament. And that will actually fund 20,000 more nurses. It will fund an extra 8,000 more doctors and an extra 3,000 more midwives. I also remain committed to be against TTIP. It's very interesting that so many parties or politicians have come out in opposition to TTIP, but we can't negotiate our own trade arrangements while we're in Europe. Now, what we want to do as a party is to trade with the world, but this agreement is something which Europe is negotiating, which is not in our interest. It is something that's going to potentially lead to further privatisation of our NHS, and is something that I am firmly opposed to. We will also end health tourism. When we have to travel abroad, we need travel insurance. So, wouldn't it be also fair for those people coming here to also get travel insurance? That just seems common sense. But while also we're in the EU, we have to treat European citizens the same as British citizens. And I know if I was living in Europe, I would be more than happy if I had an expensive operation to come over here and get it at a far discounted rate. Why wouldn't you? So, you know, we need to make those cuts. You know, we need to put those positions in place so we can stop the abuse of that system. We need to make it fair. We need to make it fully funded and properly resourced. And I believe in the NHS, so let's make it better. Thank you. How is it fair to actually charge people a weekly fee because they've got an extra room in their house, and yet their house has been fitted, so because they're disabled they can't go to another house, or there isn't another house available for them?
They're exempted from the...
Well, even so, the bedroom tax has taxed the sick, the vulnerable, the needy, those in poor. Let's scrap that bedroom tax. Do you agree?
Yes.
What we will also do within UKIP, we'll increase social care funding in total by £5.2 billion between 2015 and 2020. We'll integrate health and social care. What we'll do is actually allow the NHS to look after social care. We'll protect services such as daycare centres, home care, Meals on Wheels. Let's protect those. It was interesting how one of the parties within Caerphilly Council wanted to increase the actual amount being charged for Meals on Wheels by about £1 a meal. I think that's something that's, you know, abolish the practice of arranging home care visits within 15-minute windows. Let's keep the current free bus pass, the winter fuel allowance, the free TV licence, the free prescriptions, the eye test schemes for all pensioners without means testing. Let's improve those things. Let's stop that bedroom tax. Let's make things better for those who are needy and need it now. It's very clear that the Barnett formula, which is the formula which actually decides how much money Wales receives, is absolutely flawed. Wales is shortchanged by nearly as much as £450 per head of population each year. Okay, that's accumulated into tens of millions of pounds, which Wales has been shortchanged by over the past few years. We are being shortchanged massively. What we need to do is actually make it fairer. What we've committed to do, we've actually been the first party to talk about the Barnett formula and actually say that actually needs to be reviewed. And actually say that actually we need to have a needs-based formula which will actually address the needs of people, so we can actually put more money into Wales. Now, one of the things that I was on BBC Wales Today yesterday talking about was when Ed Miliband came out yesterday going, oh, yeah, we're going to put an extra 350 million into Wales. And then also later on today, talking about cuts then in Wales, and then he's like, where's this money coming from? What's coming from other cuts we're going to make into Wales? Now, what we're saying is this. We've done a fully costed manifesto. It's been independently verified by an economic think tank. Therefore, it's been able to actually be independently verified. And what we've also been able to do is be able to allocate 300 million net additional funds to Wales. And also, those EU projects coming to Wales, well, we'll still have the funding, they won't have the bureaucracy that goes with it. So Wales will fare far better. Thank you.